Welcome back to another episode of Ravens Roundup. And today is what? September 18th. We got 2 games going on right now. We're going to do our best to give you our recap of the Ravens game and kind of talk about some of the things that we saw that we liked and didn't like. But before we get into all that, let me just bring the guests in and we can get this thing fired up. What up, Mike?
Yo, your boy is back, man.
He's back.
Excuse me. But your boy is back. What up, people? What's good?
Good to have you back, man. I know life be lifing, but yeah, hey, it is what it is. You got to take care of that first.
Life be life in part 2 coming soon.
Hey, life on me today. I had to pull some audibles.
I saw your YouTube post like, hey man, working. So
Girl, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm keeping a buck. We had open house today, and it's sad because I saw 4 parents. No, 3. I saw 3 parents.
That's how it be, bro.
My whole hall may have had 15 people, and it's 1, 2, 3. It's 5 of us on the hall. So I know my mama at least sent somebody as representation if they couldn't make it, but
right,
it is what it is. Let's bring the rest of the guys in. What up, Jose?
What up?
What's good? We know where he at, so
yeah. He watching the same thing. I got it up on the screen here. We're gonna be doing the live stream afterwards. But Coach, I'm the opposite parent, man. I'm that parent that the teachers is like, man, I wish he would stop calling. I wish he would stop emailing me. You know what I'm saying?
Like, them the kind I like though.
Yeah, you gotta be man. You got to hold top of your kid accountable. Yeah. So
and that way that kind of stuff keeps the teacher on point too. Yeah. Don't allow the teachers to slack. If you know you got a parent that's gonna constantly be in touch and trying to see what's going on with their kid, that's why I do it all the way around.
That's exactly why I do it. I want them to know that I'm always watching.
And that's what I was. Even when my son we were at the same school. And so it wasn't enough for me to be in the class on my planning period. Just walk over there and see what's going on.
That's right.
Y'all good? Everything good? He doing good? All right. Okay. Just randomly.
Yeah.
And last but not least for today, what up, Chris?
Man, hats off to your son, man, because I would have been I would have been asking to transfer, man.
I wasn't helicoptering. I just was checking in from time to time and hey, yo, what's going on?
Hey man, it don't matter. It don't matter. I would have been scared. I'd be like, I can't do nothing in here.
But he made it through. Hey,
good for him,
good.
Man.
He good. He be all right.
You want me to tell your dad?
Exactly.
You know how many times he probably heard that?
Exactly. And I be doing people like that got kids at school. Hey, what now? Don't your mama work around here? And even if I know where their mama work at in the town, like don't have me to go to Walgreens. Right. I knock. Oh, we good. So, but that's where we at.
The chat talking about Chubb carted off.
Yeah.
Chubb hurt. Uh oh. Let's see. What up, Juice? What up, Chris? Let's see who all in here before we get started. We got T Sizzle with the Noti game. Appreciate it. Let me hit that. Thank you. Jay, we turned, Coach. We definitely turned after that win yesterday. And actually, I'm most happy with the way the offense looked. We ain't executed greatly, but we executed enough. But I see the possibilities. I definitely see the possibilities. What up, Ken Darius? Jeremiah Dub, appreciate it. Don Mingo, Blackula, Chef, Eva Stewie, I hadn't seen you in a minute, but welcome back. Welcome back. Austin, I appreciate it. Hey, the most famous Austin I know is Rafer.
Skip to my Lou.
Ain't that Skip to my Lou?
Yeah.
Let's see who else. I think that's about it. Justin Phillips. We got T. Scissor, Jamal. A bunch of people starting to come back now that football has started. So I appreciate everybody that
Will
coming.
G. I see Will G in here.
Will, Terry W, Xavier Smith, Runnix. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Jared.
Salute.
Juice Man. Good. What's good? What's good? So before we get started, and I told y'all to have y'all stuff ready. So if you have water, if you have purple Kool-Aid, whatever you got, toast.
Straight up
Toast.
vodka.
Toast.
Hey,
I
just got
toast.
purple
My brother,
Kool-Aid.
who is it?
Oh, we got
He's watching the game.
We got
Hey.
one for B and one for Hendo.
Damn, that's some
Yeah.
strong vodka.
That's that fresh distilled you got, Chris.
That's straight
What
from-
proof is that vodka?
That's a 1020 proof.
You got that boy like Hendo used to have from Lake Minnetonka.
That's the stuff they give Putin.
Right before he goes to wrestle a bear.
Right. and allegedly wins.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But
Yeah.
also purple Kool-Aid too. So this is kind of cool it down to wash that down. I'll be good. I got a little popsicle in my drink to cool it off, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Mike know what I mean. Everybody don't
Mhm.
know what I mean. You'll figure it out on the back end.
Yes, sir.
But let's get to the game Sunday. So we'll start with what side y'all want to start with? Offense or defense?
Let's go defense first, since we like the we're a little high on the offense right now. Let's go with the defense.
Let's start with the DBs then. Let's talk DBs. Corners and safeties. For the guys that were in there, I applaud them. Did they play great? I don't know how well or bad they played great. Appreciate you, B. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but Brandon, the message says 20 because the money ain't funny. Rolling on the floor laughing. That's from Brandon. Appreciate you, B. I forgot what I was saying. I laughed at that dude. Oh, because the subs. I was just happy that the way they played, because they aren't guys. But for us to do what we did to that group of receivers, I applaud the effort. I applaud them and Mike for the scheme. Now I haven't dug into the defense like I did the offense so far. Defense gonna be for me tomorrow, but to shut them down the way they did, if I'm not mistaken, Burrow had like what 80 yards at halftime or 30-something yards at halftime, maybe 35 or something like that. And I shouts out to all them cats, all of them that played. Like when Rock slammed Jamar Chase, I didn't even know who he was because I didn't know he was playing. So I had to realize who was 23, because I was wondering why Darby wasn't playing. And then Darby came in and played good, and Brandon Stevens came and should have had a pick six, but he chose the path of least resistance. But I'm overall I was happy with the DBs. What y'all think about it?
No, like you said, like for what they for being shorthanded, I know Roquan said he don't like them calling his team shorthanded because he got faith in everybody there, but they were shorthanded. No Marcus Williams, no Marlon Humphrey, and they're still limited in Rockets in a little bit, so we're nowhere near close to full strength in just the secondary alone. We didn't even get to the rest of the team, but no, good scheme. And the 2 touchdowns they gave up to T. Higgins, man, look, it's T. Higgins, right? Like they were just great catches. Well, I think he pushed off a little bit.
That's still 6'4" on 5'8". That's you can't. What can you do? You can have perfect coverage, and he can just lip boy you.
Yeah, I mean, those were later in the game. You want to see them close out great, but when you don't have the best of the best out there, you got to kind of limit your expectations a little bit. But they did exactly what they needed to do to win the game. So I got nothing bad to say about them.
All right, 222 yards for Burrow, and most of that came when they were just in straight up. I got to throw it because I'm so many points behind. So that's and they still held them to 85.6% passer rating. Again, nobody really went off for them offensively. T had 8 catches for 89 yards, but that's basically 10 10 yards a catch, you can deal with that. Chase had 5 catches for 31 yards, 6 yards a catch. That's great. So, what y'all got about the DBs, Mike and Chris?
Man, you gotta salute them dudes, man. Look, we not gonna act like we ain't see that very Bengals team, those same 2 wide receivers and Boyd give us about 500. You know what I mean? So going in, once Marlon went down, we instantly started thinking about this Bengals game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once Marcus Williams went down, we instantly started thinking about this Bengals game. So those guys that stepped in, man, you gotta tip your hat to them. And one person in particular, man, I know we've been hard on him, but so far this year, fingers crossed, man, Brandon Stevens been looking like a solid player out there. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's not doing anything, I guess spectacular, but he's not giving up the big play like we used to him, like we used to seeing him do. So
Right.
I think Darby has been, quite a surprise addition. So hopefully when we get Marlowe back, and then hopefully Rock get himself, 100% or close to it,
Mm-hmm.
we might have something there. Ardarius Washington is playing solid. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So you gotta tip your hat to that secondary, man. I think they held up well. So yeah, man, I think if we can keep those guys healthy as we can be, we might be all right. I know that was a point of, we were a little shook about that. We even before Marlo went down,
Mm-hmm.
MP not back. We were worried about that group
Yep.
altogether. But man, the young guys seem to be stepping up.
Honestly, Mike, the 2 groups that we were worried about the most played the best yesterday, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Played the
Mm-hmm.
best. And speaking of Brandon Stevens, I was gonna do a film study on him last week about how bad he was, because it just felt like every time they needed a catch, they was throwing at him. But when I went back and looked at the all 22, he ain't play as bad as I thought he did. So I just canceled that video because I didn't want to slander him for just for nothing.
Right, right.
What you got, Chris?
Yeah, I thought they played well. Like Jose and Mikey said, the expectations were very low. We all have that fresh in our mind, that beat down from a couple years ago
Mm-hmm.
when they just came in here and tore up that Ravens secondary. So, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, but I wasn't expecting it to go as well as it did. And you mentioned Rock Sin, and that was probably my favorite play of the game. That one, because
Mm-hmm.
that's a touchdown.
Right.
That's a touchdown, and for him to get his hand in there and to keep battling through the catch, like that was beautiful. That's exactly what you want to do on a play like that with somebody who's probably top 3 in the league when it comes to that fade route in the end zone. So that was phenomenal to see. Darby and Stevens, those dudes, you want to throw short, they're gonna tackle.
Yep.
And that's what we mentioned last week. We said last week, like, look, you may not be the best cover guy, but at least if they're going to catch the ball, make those tackles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they do. They run up there and they hit, and they like to get physical. So, to me, this is it's only 2 games, but it's looking like one of the most physical secondaries the Ravens have had in quite a few years, where you just have corners across the board who can tackle, and you don't even have the best cornerback on the team, who's probably the most physical corner in the league. So
Right.
that's a great sign. And Coach, you alluded to it, that they don't even have Marlon yet, and
Right.
they're looking solid. And you got a guy like Ardarius playing like 95% of the snaps,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, he gave up the touchdown. He's 5'8",
Right.
maybe.
Right.
So there are going to be those plays where it's just like he'll be in good position. It's just he just doesn't have the physical capability to knock the ball away. But he's a guy that he's always right there.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be in the hip pocket. So I thought they played phenomenally, and hats off to them. And also Gino
Mm-hmm.
was playing at a different speed yesterday, and I think what you see with him is maturation and trust of the film that he's been breaking down and what he's learned over the last few years. Because when he was seeing something, he was clicking and closing right away. There was no thought, there was no hesitation. And you see it on the first drive where he's, put in a tough hit on Tyler Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you see that click and close when he he sees that route going to Higgins, and he jumps right in between and gets that ball out. Obviously, you want him to,
Pick it.
get that nose for the end zone. Obviously, you want that. But I thought he played well, and Kyle Hamilton too. Like the way that they used that dude, like there was times where he was lined up across from Chase 1-on-1.
Yep.
Not just one time. There were a few times where he was lined up across from Chase,
and didn't back down.
Did not back down. They had him, he was in the slot. They had him sometimes lined up at free safety. Sometimes they had him lined up in the box. So it's like you could say like, oh yeah, he's just a box safety, but he's more than just that. Like he's like almost like a queen on the chessboard. Like you can just move him all around. So
for those that don't know, the queen can move almost
everywhere. Yeah,
they can move left, right, up, down, diagonal. It's up to you. For those that are non-chess advocates out there.
Yeah. One other thing too about Hamilton, Chris, I seen you tweet about it. But I mean, we all saw it. Like that tackle on Irv Smith. And he don't make that tackle. That's 80 yards, touchdown, or whatever.
That's a different type of game now.
Yeah, so that was a big tackle, man. So the secondary as a whole, man, they played well, man. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, but all things considered, man, you got to give them their props for sure.
Right. Shout out Big Daddy Raven too for dropping 5. He said Marcus Williams not going to IR.
That's big too.
Might be back within 4 weeks as well as no surgery. That's definitely big. Him choosing not to get surgery don't necessarily mean he's healthy, but it means that it's an injury enough where he feel like he can play through it. Because even like they said last week, when he initially got hurt, he kept playing. And I think he got hurt on a play where he almost made a tackle across the middle, and he definitely played, I know, a series or two after that. So, that's for Big Daddy Raven. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But that's all I got for DBs. Y'all good on DBs?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's move down to the linebackers. And one of y'all can start with linebackers while I switch this battle.
I started off.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
Man, I'm happy. I'm happy for PQ. He balled yesterday. I mean, you could say like, oh, he got Roquan next to him, but there are individual plays that he is making that he was not making 2 years ago.
Yep.
And to see that maturation, and it's kind of like what I spoke about with Geno Smith, where you have guys playing fast because they trust themselves. They trust what they're seeing. And it's the same thing with Queen. How many times will we see Queen in the past be the fast guy, be that puppy who wants to get to the ball carrier so fast, and then he just slips right off of him?
Yep.
Now he still plays with that tenacity and that speed, but now he's breaking down, and now he's able to wrap up and able to get these dudes to the ground. And it's been great to see him, just take these steps and mature. And it's a lesson for people that, not everybody's going to be Micah Parsons,
right.
Where these dudes come into the league and they hit the ground running right away. Like sometimes it's a process. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. And he's the latest example of that as far as the linebacker position is concerned, because that dude, he's had his share of ups and downs. And right now we're seeing him, really, really mature and come into his own.
Yeah. And having somebody like Roquan there to guide you, right? That somebody that can help mentor you a little bit and give you advice. I think that helped clean up his game a lot to where he doesn't have to, second guess himself on certain things. Like he knows, like you got a veteran like Roquan who plays at that high level. He could tell you, listen, if you see this is what it's going to be. Don't even think about it. This is what it's going to be. Trust yourself, go in there, shoot that gap, make the play. And that's what he's doing. I obviously, like I said, I think Roquan had a quiet day for Roquan yesterday, but helping that linebacker core just be in the right places. Like even on an interception, he said that he helped him and Geno kind of lined that up to where they wanted to fake out Burrow a little bit. Burrow was thinking that Roquan didn't know where he was going, but he was baiting them into that interception. Like I think that communication, along with the coaching with Mike McDonald, this defense, I mean, they just know where to be.
Yeah. And to me, I thought Roquan was like MIA for the most part because he didn't have a lot of tackles and whatnot.
Hmm.
But the little bit that I went back and kind of rewatched, because again I hadn't watched it like I want to yet. His communication is off the chain because he's putting people in the right spot.
Yeah, coach on the field.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I think I mean we go back to last season, right? Maybe 6 or 7 games into the season, we started to see this in PQ before or right before Roquan got to town. You started to kind of see, it kind of the game kind of slowing down for PQ, and he started to play a lot better. But it is a beautiful thing to see. I said it when we were still in the preseason. I said that I thought that this linebacking duo was the best in the league, and I think that they showing, if not there, they are. You gotta speak on them. Yeah, you gotta speak on them if you're gonna talk about linebacker duos.
Yep.
To your point, Zay, I think it could be. I think Rowe has definitely helped him out, but I think it could be to the point where PQ don't feel that pressure to be that guy, to be the guy that stepped in to replace Ray and to be the next great middle linebacker in this defense. I think he now has somebody on the other side of him he could trust, and now he could just play his game, right? Yep. And he don't got to overthink anything. Just play your game, and I think he balling. Unfortunately, he probably gonna price himself up out of here. Yep. But let's just hope that we do our thing and we get that hardware while we got him. But I think, man, I think that dude, I think he balling and even, man, Harrison ain't looking that bad. Like when he out there too, it got a little scary when PQ went down for a second and it was like, oh Lord.
But they didn't bring Malik in. They brought
they did. They brought Delshawn. Yeah,
Malik playing outside linebacker. He playing for Owe didn't play yet. That's why he getting his snaps at. But and somebody just mentioned it, and I was gonna say that. Do you think like he TDOGX asked Bynes coached him up? He was making plays before roll, but more after roll. The thing I was about to ask is, do you think he was overplaying stuff, trying to do? Because no shade to Bynes. Bynes did what he could do, but we know Bynes a little older in age. Do you think PQ was trying to do his job and Bynes and trying to do too much and then not doing nothing? Could that be part of the process?
I think so, because I forgot what it was, but in one of the Wired episodes that they had a couple years ago, you hear somebody tell him like just don't try to do too much. Just do your job, do what you have to do. And
talking to PQ.
Yeah, talking to PQ. And I think it was the game where he got an into, I forget against who, but he got a pick against somebody, and it was like, you see when he came back to the sideline.
Yeah,
I don't remember which game it was.
Because that was after all that slander about him dropping picks, and he finally got one.
That was the Bengals game.
That was the Bengals.
Yeah, and then that Wired episode, it was like, you see, and I think that's what it was. He was just trying to do too much.
So he definitely was overrunning stuff, and it's like he was thinking too much and too fast. I don't know if that really go together because they normally don't. But you know who he looks like, or who looks like him right now? Simpson. Simpson, the little bit of Simpson got in the preseason and on special teams, he run around like 100 miles per hour. But when he gets to the point where he got to make the tackle, he can't stop.
Yeah.
And one little and if you going full speed, you done. Which is what PQ was doing year 1 and year 2. He get there and be in position to make plays with that speed, but one little move because he didn't break down or didn't properly, get a good base up on the tackle, they be gone. So we'll see. But I'm good. I'm good with they play. I said I thought Roquan played. I ain't gonna say he played bad, but just by looking at his tackles initially, I was like, well, Roquan kind of MIA. But then going back and looking at stuff, I said, nah, he just out there directing traffic. That's what he doing.
Yeah.
He if football had assists, like not tackle assists, but like putting people in the right position, he probably would have had a bunch of them in because he was doing his job, definitely doing his job, and being a leader, being a vocal leader. He done took on that role and he all in it. He all in it. All right, let's slide down to the D line. We're gonna talk when we talk D line. We're gonna add outside linebackers to it too. So we're talking about Travis Jones and Matty BK and we haven't called Broderick Washington's name that much.
Yeah, he was kind of quiet. Matt BK, he He up, down, man. Like he make a good play, then it's a 15-yard penalty. He get the worst penalties too.
Mhm.
It's never like offsides. All right, it's face mask, late hit. You know,
Stupid stuff.
stupid stuff. Yeah. So I mean, but this, I mean, I don't know, man. Matt BK, he's shown flashes for 3 years.
Mhm.
All right, he's showing a little bit more now. He just has to clean up on the penalties, but overall, listen, I'm gonna give high grades for most of these units across the board. I thought they did a solid job. They put a lot of pressure on Burrow. You know, they didn't have a great day running either. Although I think they discouraged him early. I don't think I don't think they did a bad job early on. Mixon, I don't think he did a bad job,
Let
but
me see what Mixon had.
they
Mixon finished with 59.
59, 4.5 yards per
Mhm.
carry. So like he wasn't running bad. Just I think couple of timely stops and us getting ahead a little bit discouraged them from running the ball.
And they don't like running it anyway. That's
No.
the one thing. If you cover them, they are not patient enough to just run the ball and take the underneath stuff. They like, I don't know if y'all watched the Colorado game. They would not do what Colorado State did. Take them under routes. They want
Right.
like Colorado State took 900 under routes. The Bengals ain't gonna do that. The Bengals gonna force that ball down the field and they ain't gonna run it. So you just gotta out patience them. I guess is the word.
Yeah. And us striking first help with that too. And it's like B always says, like, best defense is putting up points.
Mhm.
You put up points, you make the other team one dimensional, especially a team that doesn't like to run to begin with. To your point, but yeah, no, overall, man, I think did a good job. I believe Clowney got his first sack. I mean, he should have had 3 last week, but he got no. I liked it. Even Hendel's boy,
Robinson.
Davis
Mhm.
Robinson. It wasn't an actual sack that he got, did he?
No,
I don't think
I
he
think
got a
he
sack.
got
he got a
pressure.
QB hit though. I think
Yeah.
pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good play by him. No, I feel good about the D line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they solid, man. My bad, Chris.
No, go ahead, Mikey.
Nah, I mean, we've been saying the same thing about Matt BK. He has it. He has the talent, man. He just has to. He got to find a way to hone in on it, and find a way to dominate, man. I think he has everything. He has the tools. He has it all. He just it's something there where he just can't put together a solid stretch of play. But I think as a group, they play well. I think Clowney. I like Clowney's fit with this team. He got a sack, but some of the things that's not really showing on the stat line is he's causing a little bit of havoc wherever he's lined up. They got to keep an eye on where he's at. So he's making his presence felt there. So that's a good thing. I was thinking watching that group. I'm like, and we get Bowser back in 2 weeks, hopefully. It only gets better, right? Jabo. We don't know what Owe. There's a rumor of injury. It wasn't talked about during the game. At least I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No, he got injured.
Okay, it was his ankle, right? They said
He got one of the guards landed on his right ankle.
Okay.
And bent it, and he tried to come back in the third quarter, and right when he planted it, you could see it buckle again, and that's when he just walked off the field. He was like, I can't go anymore.
Yeah, it was something weird about that turf too with those ankles. You could see the two, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but you could see the 2 instances of when OBJ hurt his too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, as a group, I like where they going. They could be a little bit stronger there. Travis Jones, like you said, Broderick Washington. I'd like to hear their name a little bit more, but solid.
Right.
Yeah.
Travis had 4 tackles. Broderick, like, I don't even recall him being in the game, honestly. I don't. He's not on the stat sheet, and not saying he ain't playing, but I every time I look out there and pay attention, it's Pierce, Matt BK, Urban, and Travis Jones. I don't know if he's playing or not. I have to, like I said, I watched the
I didn't see
defense
Owe
tomorrow.
either.
Who?
Owe.
I didn't see him much.
Yeah, he only played. Owe played 14 snaps yesterday.
I know he went out that much.
So, but he didn't show up on the injury report either, right?
The injury report?
Yeah.
They said well, they didn't put out an injury report yet, but they said that his ankle. They said he was in a walking boot in the locker room.
Okay.
The first injury report I think comes out Wednesday.
But they didn't. But to what Jose's saying, like they never, like the CBS crew never said anything. Like that's why everybody was like, "What the hell is going on?" Like nobody said nothing about it.
Yeah.
Like OBJ, he heard his, and you heard about it right away.
Right.
And then Oweh, they never mentioned a peep about it.
So we hopefully he'll be back. But I mean, the way the entire defensive unit is playing collectively, it may not have to rush them back because them like as a whole, them guys playing ball. And I understand they gave up 24 points, but not even 24 points, 17 points because of the punt return.
Yeah.
What punt return? Who was that punt returner? Jose?
Your boy,
Charlie Jones.
Hey, Charlie gonna be all right when they finally get rid of Tyler Boyd and slide him in there. Charlie gonna be all right.
I put my fist a little bit, just a little bit. Okay.
I was like,
I was wondering if that was who y'all.
That was him.
About.
Yeah,
but what threw me off? I like a name like Charlie Jones. I'm like, ain't no way this guy white.
Yeah, that's what shocked us. That's what shocked us.
Mike, and I like when me and Jose was watching I was doing the breakdown of what's the corner for Pittsburgh?
Porter
Jr. Tyler Jones was giving their team the business.
Yes,
the business. Now he couldn't get away from Porter, but
he was
contested catches, he was catching them all.
Yeah,
Charlie
catching
Jones,
them all.
Man, he got to be cool. White guy named Charlie Jones.
And then when they put somebody else on him, not named Porter, he was lighting their ass up.
Yes,
he was lighting them up. So that's kind of where me and Jose kind of like at the same time. We like, man, who is this dude? And he was balling. He was balling. But hopefully, he never goes off against us. That'd be his one highlight versus us. And he can do stuff versus other people.
Well, they move on from T. Higgins. You might see a lot more of him next year.
True.
I hope so.
True. And like I said, they already said T ain't in their plans, so
he looked like the best wide receiver yesterday. That's even without him getting the ball.
Right.
Like, he was just looking the way he was moving, like he looked like the best wide receiver they had.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's switch to the other side. You gonna act right? There it is. All right, talk about the quarterbacks. We'll start with the quarterback. Lamar was, I'll give you his numbers. He was 24 for 33, 237 yards, 2 TDs. But to me, the most important stat, no interceptions.
Yes.
No interceptions. And he made some good throws. He made some accurate throws. He had, and y'all can see from kind of the stuff I was tweeting today, we had actual pockets for the first time in a long time. And I understand there were some times where he got out and scrambled and did his thing, but for the most part, he had actual pockets and he had spacing. Like it was, and I didn't put this one out because it was close to my time to do my work. But he had one play where he dropped back and the spacing was fine. The blocking was fine. You could see him look over there, wasn't there. Come to the second read, wasn't there. Come to the third read, deliver the ball. You don't see that often. Normally it's one and he got to get up out of there because the blocking breaking down. But he had time and he showed that he can stand in the pocket and deliver. And then when he don't have to, when they cover, that's the yards I want. Them the rushing yards I want to get him. Like I didn't see but one quarterback run that I remember. It had a counter bash, but other than that, I think all his yards come from scrambling.
Yeah. No, I think this is a type of game I wanted to see in this new offense. I know they're still working out some things, but early on, he had a couple of missed throws, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just from being a Ravens fan, naturally you feel like, oh man, this is the end of the world, right? Because who knows when we're gonna throw the ball again. But they went back to it. They saw some things that worked, and they went back to it later in the game. And this is what we've been looking for. This is what we've been talking about. Lamar can make those throws. Lamar, is an accurate quarterback. It's just that the offense that we had before limited all that stuff. If we missed a pass like that, and that was one of our 14 passes we were going to throw in G-Roll's scheme. So, you got a little antsy, but this is a much more balanced offense. And, every quarterback does this, right? Mahomes misses throws, like everybody, Tua, whoever, like all the top quarterbacks, they miss throws like that, but nobody talks about those because
Mhm.
they're gonna make that throw again later on, and they'll connect. And now Lamar's getting that chance to show that because he made some beautiful catches in that second
Yeah.
half, and
Like
that one,
early in the game, he threw a slant fade to somebody that was too far. In the past, we probably be talking about that right now, but
yeah,
because he got more opportunities, he came back and threw a perfect one to
Aguilar,
Nelson Aguilar.
Mhm.
yes,
So that's
yeah,
the difference in like us complaining last year about missing bunnies versus this year because you're probably going to get a better opportunity.
yeah,
Like we had
yeah.
33 pass attempts, and probably more than that because you got to factor in his scrambles out of that. So it's probably 40. I say at least 40 pass plays called, at least.
Yeah. And I think as the season goes on, because these teams early on, they're trying to keep him in the pocket. They want to see if he can be the guy that can kill him from the pocket. And teams are finding out real quick, yeah, he is that guy that can do that. Right. So as they start to spread out, not try to box him in as much, Lamar's going to unleash on them.
Yep. Mike, Chris.
Nah, I mean, bro, I almost shed a tear, man, watching eight yesterday, man. Like, what he started the game, what that first drive, he was 7 for 7.
I think he might have started like 9 for 9.
Yeah, it was something like that. But he just looks in control. He looks like, he looked like a real quarterback, and that's not from our, lens because we know he's a real quarterback. That's just the system and the former system he was in that kind of held him out and had people second guessing what he could do. But like, checking out of plays, man, making sure everybody's set. Like he just looked in control of the situation. He looked in control of the car. He was driving the car all game long. And man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful sight to see eight. Look, keeping it a buck. Like he even said it last week. It was kind of a preseason game because we
Mhm.
didn't get to play together. So you looking at 2 games of real live action. Um, you know, and it just seems to be coming together. Last week, it was a little off, you know what I'm saying? But this week, he seemed to settle down. He seemed to see the field well. He had a lot of time, man. The offensive line, blocked well, and we'll get to that. But man, salute to eight. And I hope he keeps on playing this way. If he does, man, the rest of the league in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, man. I thought he played phenomenally. This it's fun to actually watch him in a 21st century offense because we saw him do this kind of stuff at Louisville.
Sure
Like
did.
this isn't anything new. Like we know what he can do. Like people who watched him down there knew what he could do. Obviously,
Hendo knew what he could do.
damn,
Yeah.
that's a low blow. But and obviously, the 2019 season that was special. It was something crazy, something that the NFL hadn't seen before. But what there needed to be was a progression of that, and we never got that. And now it finally seems like we got the progression that we've been asking for so long. And we see not only with the change in philosophy, but the change of personnel, where an Odell can go out of the game, and you got somebody like Nelson Aguilar who can come up off the bench and produce for you. A guy who he's put up numbers before in the NFL, not just a guy who you hope and pray can fill in for you and be a professional, like in years past where you got to rely on a James Prochet or Tylen Wallace. You have a guy who is actually has done it in the league before. So I thought Lamar played well. He was accurate. He played with a lot of anticipation, was something we didn't see last week. Last week, he was kind of like he wasn't really trusting it. His timing was a little off. And I think the first play of the game was time and play to Isaiah Likely, where, takes
The
his,
hitch route. Yep.
yeah, he takes his, his step back, boom, foot hits the ground, ball is out. And we didn't see that much last week. So I'm excited. I'm happy. I can't wait to see how he continues to progress, because I don't even think we've seen the best of him yet.
Me
Like,
either.
I don't think so. And I tweeted it yesterday. Like, he's not even where we know he can be. Like to me, like a lot of people think well, a lot of non-Raven fans think that Colts game was, just a flash in the pan. I don't think it's a flash in the pan. I think that's what he can do on the regular if need be.
Agreed. Agreed. That was a glimpse of what we should have been doing the entire time after the 2019 season. I admit we needed Giro to call the plays the way he called that first year. I'll take that. But after that, when the game started slowing down to him, and he started working on his passing, the offense should have evolved. And for us to keep Giro running that long, somebody need to be slapped in their mouth.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Giro is like coaches need to evolve too, and they need to make adjustments. And he never did. Like he
Mhm.
just he refused. Right, what he was doing was safe for him. It was safe for his career. So he's just like, no, I'm not going to change anything because Lamar will cover up all that stuff and we'll win enough. I
Mhm.
like what Monken is doing so far, man. Something's not working. All right, we're going to try something else. Right, like they're not sticking to one thing and trying to, you know, force it down your throat. He's just, look, this isn't working. We'll do this out of this. This is working. We miss on that. We'll come back to that. I like it. I think the offense is going to evolve even more this season.
Right. He threw 33 times. We ran for that's 30. That's 33 plus 4 is 37. So that's almost 50-50 run pass ratio. Almost 50.
There you go.
And it's probably more than 50-50 pass because remember, a lot of Lamar runs came off scrambles.
Yes.
So if you want to
They were
talk
design
actually
runs,
calling
yeah.
the plays, it's probably more than 50% pass than it is run. But still,
Yeah.
getting close to that 50-50 number is a lot better than we were used to that 70-30
Mhm.
run wise. So I'm good with it. You can see Lamar, like he threw a timing route to Odell last week and he threw it late. Even though Odell still caught it, it just was late and the DB almost had a chance to make a play. Well, he threw that same route yesterday on time as Odell was breaking, and the DB had better coverage, but still wasn't close to catching the ball because he threw it on time. And that, like I said in the video, that stuff take reps, and the more reps they get, they probably worked on that in practice. You start figuring out how fast your players move or how fast your teammates move in game situations because practice is still practice, whether it's against another team or not. It's still practice, and the game will always be a little bit faster, and it takes a minute to get caught up like that, especially not doing any preseason stuff.
Yeah. another thing about Lamar too, undersend him more, right?
Yeah.
Remember they talked about he couldn't do it. He it was something that wasn't a part of his game, and he looked awfully comfortable doing that. And then as you speak of timing, at watching the game, right? The pass he threw to Nelson Aguilar, you don't get to really appreciate. I mean, it was a good throw, right? But the angle didn't show. Now that now that the tape and stuff is coming out, like the ball was gone before Nelson even broke and it started to head into his route. he
Anticipation.
like yes, he knew that's just how you knew he was in his bag. He was in his bag because when I saw that clip this morning, I was like, damn. So like, all right, I thought it was just a good, timing route, put it in the basket. But the ball was gone, like the ball was out of there basically ASAP, and he put it to a spot and his receivers went to get it.
Perfect over the shoulder outside. He couldn't have went up there and dropped that ball in a better spot.
100%. And this is what we seen. I think you tweeted it, Chris. I tweeted it. This is what we've been asking for. This is what he looks like when he got weapons. This is what he looks like, to your point, Coach, where, his timing was off last week to Odell, but he still caught it. We didn't have that in the past, that with these guys, we had the talent that would make a bad throw or throw that's a little bit off, still complete the pass because you have that type of talent out there now, and this is he has it, and we're seeing what can happen for him.
Yeah, Xavier Smith put up a good point, and that I had that thought, but I had kind of got away from it. Because we still got Giro scheme players on the team.
Yeah.
And so we ain't fully evolved into what a Monken thing. But we making it work with what we got, because like he said, we drafted that last year. We drafted guys to try to fit what Giro wants to do. Be like, look, we all in on your scheme, make this crap work. And when he didn't, he had to get up out of there because they invested too much in his style. Now, John allowed it, but still, it is what it is. Now he out of there, so I'm just happy to see some evolution, because this is like 3 years too late, but better late than never.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to running backs. Let's see who we got at running back. We got let me get this off.
Gus Edwards, Justice Hill,
and Devin Duvernay.
I think Flowers had a carry too, right?
Yep. Duvernay had 3 carries. Flowers had 1. Gus had 10 for 62, 6.2 yards a carry. Justice Hill 11 for 41. I think he started with 3.7, and then Lamar 12 for 54 with 4.5 yards a carry. Oh, so 7 attempts versus 33 rushing attempts. Passing attempts. I like the balance. But what do you guys see from out of the running back position?
Man, Gus had that big run. I think it was the fourth quarter, and that crowd was sick. Like, that's the type of runner I love, man. When it's just like, look, we need to get them off the field, and he just breaks for like a 15-yard run. They're like, oh my god.
He had a big one in the first quarter, in that first drive too.
Yeah.
That matter of fact, the picture I tweeted was from that first drive. He had a bunch of holes to choose from, pause. But he hit them.
Yeah. No, excellent running. And I like what I saw from Justice Hill too. B predicted that both of these running backs are going to go over 700 yards apiece. So they're on pace for it, and I can see it.
I can see that. Definitely can see that.
Yeah, I like what I saw from them too. It's especially Gus. I mean, I love when the team can just put a closer in there and be able to seal a game off and just grind the defense to a pulp. And Gus has the history of being able to do that. He's one of the best running backs ever when it comes to yards per carry. So if Gus is getting the ball, he's going to fall forward, and he's going to get you yards. So I thought he had a good game. Justice, I thought he had a good game too. There's a play where I think it's a cornerback that's coming, that's blitzing, and Justice just keeps running laterally and just completely destroys the cornerback's angle that he had on him. And it's like, damn, for a dude to have that kind of speed to make an NFL cornerback look slow after the injury that he had, because those Achilles injuries, they zap running backs. So that was phenomenal to see. And I think it's going to be running back by committee. And I think these dudes could do a little bit of everything. I think Justice, I think he's a little bit more hard-nosed than given credit for. I think Gus, he could catch the ball a little bit better than people give him credit for. So I don't think they're all-around backs, but I don't think they suck. I don't think it's a tell when one of them is in the game.
Right.
Just like we saw last week.
It used to be.
It used to be. But like we saw last week, Justice 2 goal line carries. Who would have knew? Who the hell would have knew? And he converted both of those. So I think you can mix and match these guys and not really have a tell out there. And then even when you do have a tell out there at the end of the game, there's nothing you could do to stop somebody like Gus, because he's just he just knows how to get those tough yards and be able to close out a game.
Chris, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but on that touchdown in first drive, did you realize they brought Farley in to play tight end?
Yeah, I saw on the left side.
I didn't realize it. Yeah, I didn't realize until I was doing the video earlier today.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they brought the big boy in.
Big ass tight end. Oh, that's Farley. And he did a good job of down blocking somebody. He ran up out of there. I think it was Hubbard.
Yeah,
he got Hubbard up out of there.
And there was no real hole for Gus to go through. But like we said, like, he's a hammer. So if you're in his way,
You
You
gonna get
know,
We
hammered.
gonna move you. Yeah.
yeah,
He gonna get hammered. I think like in that first drive, he had one cut where I feel like he was trying to do too much. But he should have hit it downhill. And I think he got like maybe 2 yards on that. But if he hit it where I think he should have hit it, the guy was already engaged with I want to say McCarry or Simpson. But he was engaged with one of those two. There was no way that dude was gonna be able to fight off that guy with his left side and reach out and arm tackle Gus. That's a pec tear waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So, but he jumped back, he jump cut it instead of just hitting downhill and end up running right into 55, whoever who's 50, Logan Wilson. That to me, that was I saw only flaw from Gus so far. And I think I'm like in the middle of the third quarter, actually watching it the way I need to.
and Gus got the game ball too for closing it out. So props to him. There's another dude coming back from major injury. So
I don't want to leave this dude out of the running back group because he kind of a little bit of both, and y'all know I don't like giving him the credit. But that son gun, the role that they got him in, he is feasting in it.
Yeah.
He is, and I'm talking about Ricard.
Mm-hmm.
Like last week when we couldn't block a soul on the edge, they sent Ricard to do it, and he did a lot better job than what Ronnie was doing before Ronnie got hurt. And then they started getting different looks, and Ricard's he's just doing the dirty work. But we ain't trying to throw him no balls. We ain't trying to, I think he did get a screen or something that first week or something. We ain't really trying to give him no care. He's just out there doing dirty work, which is what I'm cool with him doing. And then every now and then, week 7, week 8, week 9, you might get him with a little pop pass in the front.
Make him out there, yeah.
He doing what he's asked to do.
And he's been asked to do reasonable fullback stuff.
Yes,
right.
He ain't asking the fullback to do receiver stuff.
And that's what he was asked to do when he first came into the league, and he was playing both sides of the ball. He was there to block. He wasn't there for anything else. He wasn't there to be running wheel routes and stuff like that. He was there to block. So it seems like he's doing what he likes to do as well. Let's get a hat on somebody and be out there and make something happen that way. So that's a good thing to see. Justice is growing on me, right?
Yep.
I was a little down on Justice. Last year he started growing me a little bit. But he's showing to be, as you said, Chris, he's showing to be tough. For a small guy, man, he's showing to be super tough, actually. He's gotten better as a runner, I feel like. But I think Gus, and I was wondering, how that sat with Gus. They started Justice, or, I didn't know if that would bother him. I thought he may have thought he was the next in line, but the way they shared the wealth, man, it worked out perfectly. I would like to see Gus get a little bit more carries, but it worked out, man. It's not too many complaints, and Gus, down the stretch we've seen him do this before. When we need him to close out a game, I think it was it Cincy last year. Did he close out that game too? It was another game. It was a couple games last year where he had to
First
close
game
out.
maybe, because we lost to him back to back. So maybe it was the first game, because we
Yeah.
normally don't close out on offense a lot. That's kind of why Harbaugh was fired up.
Yeah, so it's salute to Gus. Like Chris said, he always falling forward. That's one thing that you can count on and expect from that brother. He gonna fall forward no matter what it is.
Chris, you went?
Yeah, I went.
Okay. And like I said, I just didn't want to leave Ricard out of this group because I know he like a hybrid tight end / running back, but to me he's still a fullback, and they just got him doing tight end stuff. But I'm gonna pull off some of the and I ain't been slandering him like I had in the past, but they ain't asking to do none of that crazy stuff that Giro
nine
had him
routes.
doing. Right. no seams or no stuff like that. So I'm pleased with the little space that he's carved out for Ricard, because it seems to be working. All right, let's slide over to running backs and tight ends. Receivers and tight ends. Receiving wise, Nelson Aguilar had 5 for 63. Zay had 4 for 62. Most of that coming on that 52-yard pass. Andrews 5 for 20. And you could see and I didn't think he was gonna make that much of a difference, but having Mark in there made everything a little bit smoother. A little bit smoother. Odell had 3 for 29 before he got hurt. Bateman 3 for 18. Hill 3 for 12. Likely 1 for 8. and likely pretty much had the same scenario as last week. Got to catch early, MIA.
Yeah.
Even though I don't have the usage sheet in front of me, but going through like the first 2.5 quarters, he had a lot of snaps. There were times they took Mark out. Maybe they were trying to not use him too much, let him ease on back into it. Would it be in his first game? He had snaps. He had a good bit of snaps. He just, I don't know if he was the target or he just wasn't getting open or he had that one catch and kind of faded back. But look at all the different people that caught passes,
Yeah.
which is kind of goes to what I was telling people earlier. Like, I don't think nobody gonna have like 1,000 yards. But I think Lamar gonna have a bunch of people with like 700, 800, 900 yards, in which his numbers are gonna be through the roof. But he'll be to spread the wealth to everybody else.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see a couple getting close to it. I think there might be one that gets 1,000, just over 1,000. But you're looking at these targets; they're evenly distributed. And like I said, like nobody like is sticking out like that right now. I think they want to keep the defenses guessing, and that's a good way to do that because you're not focusing on one person. And all these guys can get off. Like we haven't seen a lot of Rashad Bateman yet, but I guarantee you there'll be a couple of games where, defenses sleep on him because he hasn't been used that much, but he has that talent to torch you. And there'll be a game where he's going to be the focus and the defense ain't going to be ready for it. And he's going to light them up. And if you look at these guys, Odell, Bateman, Flowers already showed you, and Aguilar, caught Cincy yesterday sleeping on that pass. There's of course Mark Andrews. There's a lot of guys here that can really hurt you. So it's going to be really hard to shut down this group.
Right. And I like the fact that we only use 2 tight ends, so we don't have to have Kolar out there, especially with how well Ricard's playing.
Yeah.
And honestly, we could trade Kolar to Brodney team. Just call up Volacek. How you say his name again?
Yeah.
Vokalek. Him. And get Kolar up out of there. But it is what it is.
You know what I like too. What Monken did is he kind of switched things up too, because on the first deep pass to Aguilar, he's kind of playing those like what we talked about with the running backs when you put certain guys in and it's a tell. On that deep play, he had Aguilar in and he had Duve, I think was the other one. And for that, like for those early looks, it looked like it was going to be a run. Because you see Duve come in, you see Aguilar come in, you're like, all right, it's going to be a run because those are the dudes, who do the dirty work and stuff. And he switched it up and he threw a deep shot down. Now, it didn't connect, but I like the thinking there. Like, all right, you think we're going to run it with our personnel, but we're really going to go over the top. So I kind of like that. And then you see it later on in the game. I know Zay talked about it earlier. Zay talked about it earlier, that miss to Zay Flowers. In the G-Roll days, that's it.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
But Monken comes back to that, and then you get Aguilar on a similar route for the touchdown. So, I like that, and I thought these guys played well. I love the distribution of targets. It keep defenses off balance. For so long, it was you take Mark Andrews out of the game, and you pretty much you force the other guys to beat you. And now who are you going to take out of the game?
Exactly.
Take Zay out the game. Take Mark Andrews out the game. All right, somebody's going to be open.
Yep, can't cover it all. And then if you do cover it all, you got to worry about 8 running the ball.
Exactly. And that's what I love. And you hear a lot of like fantasy people talk about, oh, these guys suck, this guy suck. And it's like, when we're talking about real football, these dudes are making timely plays, making big plays. Yeah, they don't have, the 80 yards and a touchdown, but they have those valuable yards when it comes to in the game, in crucial moments. So I take that over dudes, getting those, those cupcake points, fantasy points over the, when it comes to real football. So I love the way that this team is going, like the direction that the offense is going and the weapons that they have.
Right. And it's crazy that I tweeted that picture of just the spacing and just the response to that, because we've been so used to no spacing, no creativity in the passing game, just a simple picture of guys with just spread out with clear throwing lanes. I think one of the replies was, and clear reads. That got the whole fan base like up in an uproar because we've been so conditioned to see 2-3 receivers in the same spot with one person covering and everybody in the box. I mean, we finally get to see some real football, and now we see that our quarterback is not what the people trying to say he is.
Right.
We think he's a good passer. We know he's a good passer. We believe him, but everybody else was trying to crap on him. Like even who was week 1? The Texans.
Yeah.
They and I think the Bengals said it too. They just said they was trying to keep him in the pocket to see what he could do.
Yeah.
Well, now you see.
Now they find out.
And this wasn't even a good game. This was an okay game.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would like do y'all remember the pass to Bateman? But Bateman got like it might have been Aguilar over the middle. He got like a first down on it. He barely got the first down, like tackling him right at the line.
Yeah, I think that's Aguilar.
So I think.
Oh no, wait.
It's the play I tweeted out. So I saying I think this the play that Zay told Lamar I'm open on the post. So it's on my Twitter feed. But if you look at that play, like in the past, even though Zay was running wide open, he don't get another attempt. Because they say he went to the sideline, told Lamar, "Hey, look, if we call this again, throw the post because I could beat him." And that's the play he got the coverage on. So what I was looking for the original play where he might have won and didn't get the ball, and I think I found it. And that's the one I tweeted because he was buck naked running down the middle of the field. And he just happened to have two people on him this time, like when he caught it. But the first time he was buck naked, like he had the guy behind him. If Lamar throws the ball anywhere toward the other side of the field, it's 6 because he was running away from the cat.
Yeah.
This seeing this box score was the second tear I almost shed yesterday. Just because, like, when's the last time we had multiple receivers with at least 4 receptions?
Shit, 4 targets.
Right. You know what I mean? So to see that, and it look honestly, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I was seeing something else. Maybe it was the purple Kool-Aid I was sipping on yesterday. But it looked like Odell was going to have a big game too. Mm-hmm. It looked like he was headed that way because, I mean, he was getting open. He made a couple catches. You saw the play where he got hurt, and then you saw, I think it was another grab that he made, maybe the last catch that he caught along the sideline. Yeah, mm-hmm. You could see where that his foot just was getting caught in that turf or whatever.
He actually reached down and grabbed his ankle on that play, Mike, on that second one.
Yeah. So it's it looked like he was going to have a big day or a solid day, and that's the beauty in these weapons. I mean, I think you said it, Jose. We haven't seen Bateman really get off yet, right? You know what I mean? So he's there, right? You had. And remember, this was the signing that we all clowned, including myself, where Aguilar was the first guy that signed, and it was like, here we go again, right? But you got people like Aguilar that's coming in, and when somebody goes down and you don't miss a beat. So, man, this group, I just think the sky's the limit for this group. It, like you all pointed out, it's going to be pick your poison. It's going to be pick your poison every week. And I think Lamar will exploit that big time.
Gotcha. Any closing words on the receivers and tight end?
Get healthy, Odell.
Right. Lastly, the O-line. Let's talk about the big hogs up front. To have 2 subs in the game, and did they play 100%? No. And from what I was charting most of the day, and from what I was charting, the dude that played the worst was the most solid dude up there, Zeitler. From my charting, and I'm nowhere close to finish, but Simpson played. I mean, they all had a play or two where they like maybe messed up or something like that. But as a unit, man, them boys balled out. Mm-hmm. Them steal shots of the pocket when Lamar, and then the plays where Lamar just sitting there, 1 ain't open, 2 ain't open, 3 ain't open. And then when 3 ain't open, he still can kind of go back to 1. Like, we ain't used to that. And then he'll take off running. So it's you gotta as a whole, like AGE just said, Simpson played terrible. You can tell that IQ is low. He did not play terrible. He might have had some terrible plays, but he did not play terrible. And y'all know I don't like Simpson because I think not record. I think Cleveland should be in there, but he ain't played terrible.
I think he had like 1 or 2 penalties, but other than that, it was pretty clean. And they didn't give up any sacks.
Right.
So I mean, you keep Lamar clean, I'm happy.
Exactly. And then like Moses had that fat pancake on
yes,
I think it was a DB though. It was a DB, but he cleaned him up.
Yeah,
you talking about somebody who seemed to be playing very well yesterday. Moses seemed like he was on one yesterday. He was out there to take some heads off. And you in the way, you get cleaned up. And that's the way. That's how his mindset. That's how all of their mindset needs to be. A small guy or not, you getting cleaned up. Get out the way. So, I think the old line, man. This was probably, including even with the secondary and how well they played, and what our expectations was going into the game with them. I think this was probably the most impressive group, all things considered, losing 2 starters in key spots too, right? You get your left tackle, your center. Man, those boys played really, really good. I was pleasantly surprised. I was a little shook going into the game.
Yeah.
But to keep Lamar clean, when you got 2 starters now in key spots, your two best offensive linemen at that, that's a win. So I salute to this group. I think they got a game ball too, or whatever. No, they got the little what's that
spear looking thing or whatever.
The spirit thing he giving out now, yeah. So but yeah, man. Pleasantly surprised, man. Salute to them.
And I was looking for Hubbard on this thing. He had 4 tackles. Henderson had 2, and Reeder only had 2. Them the 3 guys I was worried about. No line did a good job. Now they lost a few battles every now and then, but like I said, as a whole, and I got the utmost respect for DJ Reeder, for Musty and Simpson and Zeitler to do the job they did with on Reeder. I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, you can't look around the NFL and find a team to lose 2 starters on their offensive line and be able to pitch a shutout like that against a good defensive line that the Bengals have. Because you got Sam Hubbard, you got DJ Reeder, Trey Hendrickson, BJ Hill. Like that's a good group. That's a good solid group that we've seen, give this Ravens team fits. So hats off to them, man. And hats off to Eric DeCosta, because to be able to survive having those two starters out, that's huge. There aren't a lot of teams who can do that. And for him to have, bring up a guy like Mustafa, even though he has the unfortunate face, he played well. And then you got Makari, who, he's a do-it-all type of cat, and he played very well at left tackle. So, I hats off to them, because that's the way the offensive line goes. In my opinion, that's the way the team goes. You don't get those clean pockets. You don't get those looks to the wide receivers. You don't get those lanes for the running backs. So I thought they played, extremely well. Obviously, like Coach said, it's not going to be perfect. This is not going to be, the 90s Cowboys offensive line. But when you consider that they down 2 starters, that is, I thought they played really well, because I was shook. Just like Mikey said, I was shook about this.
They did more than enough to get the job done, and that's all you can really ask for.
Yep.
Any closing words on the O-line? You want to finish that thing on up? We good?
Again, get healthy Linderbaum, get healthy Ronnie, because even though those dudes played well, it's another level when you got Linderbaum and Ronnie in there.
Facts.
Right, definitely. And my last take on the O-line is just the fact that I think no sacks, and Lamar just had time to go through progressions on multiple plays. And I haven't charted every play like I looked at the first one, but if I got to chart these, if I got to compare Ronnie's game 1 versus Makari, I almost want to say Makari played better than Ronnie. Not saying he's a better player.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
he's a better player. But as far as the game 1, Ronnie's body of work, and then game 2, Makari's body of work, Makari looked better, but I'm not saying Makari's a good player, chat people, because I don't want y'all to take my words and twist them.
Right. You know somebody gonna run with that.
But for that, just comparing those two games, because I don't know how hurt Ronnie is or whatnot, and Ronnie might have been hurt before the game. Don't know. But just on those two games, Makari looked better. His effort looked better. His feet looked better. Now, is he the athlete Ronnie is? No. Nope. Not saying that. Just 2 games, people. Just 2 games.
No mishaps on snaps or nothing like that. Like, man, look, before the game started, pregame, and they were saying Ben Cleveland was taking snaps, taking practice snaps. I was like, shit. Like, it's just gonna be one of them games. I was like, yo, Ben Cleveland. So, you know, it was fairly clean for them boys, you know, like you said, and we always talk about here, keep that Ferrari clean, and that's what they did. So that's a win for the day.
Right. And I think Ben Cleveland might have made some money. Because if he really can be like a backup center, we already know he could play guard, and he did decent at tackle in the preseason.
Yeah.
Ben Cleveland might have made him some money on another of the teams as well. Because I ain't very many guys that can play all 5 like Makari. Ain't very many. You almost looking at, you may have 2. And now we don't know how good of a center he is. We ain't seen it in action, but I mean, to be the emergency guy, what if he would have got forced in there? We would have saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
So for a guy that can play all 5 spots, you got 2 of them now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good problem to have.
Very good.
We finally developing in talent. That's what it seems like. Finally. Hopefully that trend continues, and think about 3 years from now if we continue developing talent.
Finally.
What'd you say, Jose? Finally. Hey, so that's really all I got. So we'll get let's see what you have on these likes before we get up out of here. Oh, we finally made it to 100 likes. Let me give y'all 100 points. While I'm giving you your points, Mikey, let everybody know what you got going on.
So look, let me say this. And I meant to say this when we talked about wide receivers. But fellas, I think we finally got one in the draft. We finally made the right pick. It was looking bleak. It was looking like we was never going to find that guy. But Zay looking like he that dude. He looking like he going to be that guy. So, you know, we gotta give EDC that the process. Finally, I mean, you know, I guess you shoot 80 jumpers, you gonna hit one. You gonna hit one. So, but Zay looking like he gonna be that dude. So look, man, I'm Mike, OTR Mike, as y'all know me, host of Open Mic with OTR Mike. The show has been grounded for a while. I'm like Chris. You know how Chris usually say, "Look, man, you'll catch it when we might have something for you." But the show is coming back. This is just the way, like Coach said, we was talking on screen, life be life, and I was off Friday, sitting right here, drawing up an episode, and then my phone rang. Emergency call had to run out. So it was just life just be life, you know what I mean? But trust me, the show is coming back. So to make sure you're there when the show is, when I finally drop that episode, go over there and subscribe to the show. I appreciate you in advance. Also, man, I'm 1/3 of Ring Kings podcast with my brother Jose, my other brother Rodney. We've been off on that too, you know. But it's coming back. We got a big fight coming up. 2 weeks. No, next week. Is it next weekend?
I think it's next week. Charlo and Canelo.
Yeah, Charlo and Canelo. So we will be live streaming for that for sure. So hopefully that won't be the first time we're back. But if it is, man, we're gonna make it dope. Go over there and subscribe if you're a boxing fan, because we give you everything you need. Even if you are the casual fan, we help you out with that. So go over there and subscribe. And fellas, man, it's been a pleasure to be back. I'm glad to be back. Things are settling down on this side. After man try to hold me back, but it's all good. I'm here, so it's a pleasure to be back. Chat, I missed y'all, man.
Appreciate it. Hey, and both of the links for both of his channels, the OTR, what is it? Off the record, Mike. The original,
yeah,
the
original off the record.
Yes,
the originators.
Original
Often
OTR.
imitated, never duplicated. But let me stop. Both of the links in the description is what I was gonna say.
Let me light a cigar to that. Look, man, we still look. Y'all want some some of the chocolate cigars from the meet and greet because I still got a whole box right here to
Flip it
send
up.
y'all.
There we go. That's the little emblem on it. It say Ravens Roundup.
Yeah,
What? Meet up. Got the date on it.
Roundup meet and greet. Yep.
yeah, man, that's a collector's
See if they can
item right there.
see if they can see the shot glass. It's probably because it's there it is. Got
It's a collector's item.
everybody's JPEG and on it, and got a little thing commemorating the date.
Yep.
Yours better than mine.
We got those too. If y'all want these cigars and you want the shot glass, we got it.
Hey, hit
Holla
some
at us.
DMs.
Yeah, holla
Hit
at
some
us. We got
DMs.
you.
Hit some DMs. Chris, what y'all got?
We did a week one recap of on Deep Cover podcast. Check that out. We're going to be recording this week. Probably drop on Thursday, Friday, one of those days. So we'll be recapping this game and previewing the Colts game. Also, you could check out a little write up I did. You can see that as my pinned tweet on Chris Just Joking on Twitter. Twitter and MySpace. If you on MySpace, I don't know. Maybe you are. But yeah, that's all I got going on.
And the link to Deep Cover Podcast is also in the description. Also, Jose, what you and B got going on?
Well, tonight, if you want to see B's reaction to the Panthers Saints game, I'm gonna put that link in the chat right now. Okay, we're gonna go live here, 15-20 minutes or so. I'm gonna hit up B, see if he's ready to go. But typically you can find us every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time on the LBHT show. Also the Overtime show, which follows that show, which you can find on our Patreon at patreon.com/LBHT show. And like Mikey mentioned, if you're into boxing, Ring Kings podcast is where you want to go. Yes, we've taken a little break. It's been hard to get everybody together to record, but we do have a lot in store. So go subscribe. If you're hearing about the Charlo Canelo fight, you're hearing about Bud Crawford and Errol Spence part 2, you're hearing about Shakur, possibly fighting Frank Martin or Tank Davis, all that stuff. We're going to cover all that in the upcoming episodes. So make sure you subscribe to that. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show and at Ring Kings Pod.
There you go. Description to all that. The link to all that is in the description. So make sure if you're not subscribed, please go do so. Support the what's the word, Jose? Roundup approved content.
Yes, all the Roundup approved content. Yes.
So we appreciate it. And again, these channels that you see here, we give back. You join the Patreon, you be in the chat box. There's a bunch of different things with our loyalty points that we do. We give back and we try to get you guys interactive. So don't think it's just an all take. It's give and take over here. Everybody can't say that.
Yeah.
That being said, we was trying to. We right on time. The Saints and the Panthers are open, so I would hope that you would all just click that link and go over to Lunch Break Hot Take. And even if you're not subscribed, do so, and then just hit the notification. So once they hit live, you're there. They're probably gonna be live in about 10 or 15 minutes. Once Brodney, kind of calm down a second, and they'll be ready.
He's pretty calm about this. Yeah. He did, expectations weren't that high for this year. He just wants to see them build off of, each week and got a young quarterback. So he's excited for the future, but he doesn't have that high expectations this year.
Gotcha. So he realistic.
Yes.
Got a young team, young quarterback. You just trying to shoot for 6, 7, 8 wins. That's a win for the season.
I actually had higher expectations than he did. Yeah. Yeah.
So again, I appreciate you guys for coming through. Next Monday we'll be back with who we got, the Colts, with no Anthony Richardson, maybe. And we'll see, what we got. Hopefully we'll be 3-0. And again, don't forget, we get victories. You gotta have your shot glass, whether it be water, vodka, whether it be pink lemonade, whatever. Have your shot glass ready for Victory Monday. And if you hit Mike up, you can have your chocolate cigar too.
Cigar, baby.
So I appreciate y'all, man. And we're gonna get out of here so they can get ready for their show. And I thank everybody for coming through. I appreciate y'all. And again, links to everybody's stuff is in the description. Oh. Let's not forget about Rogue Pod. He's not on today, not on with us. But Rogue Pod, his link, the links to his stuff is in the description also. Another Ravens YouTuber that's normally here. That's Hendo. That's the guy we keep referencing. If you don't know who it is, let me show you. There it is. That's his stuff right there. So it's Rogue Pod on all platforms. And he Hendo streams 4 or 5 times a week. So, had life be lifing on that end. So we understand. So we'll hopefully have him back Monday. And I'm sure y'all see him tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, if not all them days. So we think about you, brother.
Yes, sir.
We out. See y'all on different platforms throughout the week. I ain't gonna say next Monday. Peace, y'all.
Peace.